All right, Steve, let's go to Coral Gables. We're going to talk a little Miami recruiting. The Canes, they're hosting Ball State today. But
Fighting football
Mario
Cardinal.
and his squad are rolling, and the Canes have a shot to make another big impression. Now, here we look at the big visitor list. I don't know if Elijah Griffin made it in. We're going to have to confirm that, but I do know they have two huge flip targets on campus. Interior offensive lineman, he's a 5-star. Michael Carroll committed to Alabama, and then Floyd Buchard, who's down the way, I believe Miami Central High School. Floyd Buchard committed to Oklahoma, but he's back on campus at Miami today. How you feeling about this visit list, Steve?
Well, coming into the visit, Chad Simmons was hearing that he did not think it was going to happen. And I talked to someone around Coral Gables yesterday that there was no confirmation that he was coming. Michael Carroll is there. Michael Carroll actually visited Florida earlier in the season, talking to his dad. People are like, no one made a big deal about that. But this Miami visit seems a little different. I still think that Alabama is clearly the program to beat. And Michael Carroll hasn't been shy to put it out there that he's interested in hearing and the NIL resources that are being poured into offensive linemen at these schools, and so he's looking into that. And we know Miami's got some nice infrastructure to their program, so we'll see what happens. Could that be Mario Cristobal's next big flip? Obviously, the offensive line's a position. It's a position that he pours a lot into, regardless with him and
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're building this thing the right way. Mario Cristobal building it from the inside out. I mean, he's done an incredible job of flipping a Justin Scott, the 5-star defensive lineman from Ohio State. Last cycle, a huge flip from their in-state rival, the Florida State Seminoles. 5-star defensive lineman in Armando Blunt. I remember the Ruben Bain recruitment. He's a monster edge that is just scraping the surface of what he's going to become. Ruben Bain was a huge win on the line. They got Max Buchanan committed now. And if they can go flip a guy like a Michael Carroll, I mean, watch out. Do you think, Alabama did a great job getting him committed this summer, but he is at IMG Academy, which is down in Florida. Do you think that the fact that he's located so close to the Miami campus is a plus for the Canes?
Well, his dad said that I think he wants to go out and see some places he hasn't seen. His dad said, I still think the best place for him is Alabama. He said, I don't think there's a lot of smoke behind the fire, but he could be wrong. His old offensive line coach before he moved to IMG, Chris Myers, has some ties to the Miami program. Good friends with, some of the young guys that visited, Pepe and Brett Collegier this weekend. So they're all there together. Miami just offered. He wanted to go see what it's like, and they're shutting out the mighty Ball State Fighting Football Cardinals, and Cam Ward's throwing for 345 yards and 5 touchdowns to this point in the game. So, Miami, they got a chance to be undefeated. They got a chance to be the ACC darling this year that Florida State was last year. I think that Miami has a pulse in this recruitment, but I still think that it'll be hard to pull him away from Alabama. He'll be back there. But again, NIL is a factor in Michael Carroll's process. And when you get down to IMG and you're living in a dorm around a bunch of other blue chip recruits, and pretty much everything you're talking about is football and recruiting and NIL and things of that nature, Michael Carroll's hearing the value and hearing numbers and where other prospects stand financially. And I think he's got some, he's interested in seeing perhaps what his potential is in that arena as well when he goes on these visits and talks with coaches and sees how well these offensive linemen at other programs are doing and comparing.
Yeah. Speaking of offensive linemen, Mario Cristobal doing what he does. He's working ahead. 2 monster 2026 interior offensive lineman, Brett Collegier. He goes 6'5.5", 300 pounds. He's from IMG Academy in the 26 class, like I said. Then you got offensive tackle in the 26 class as well, Kenny Pepe. He's 6'7", 295 pounds. So you can see exactly where Mario Cristobal is trying to take this, and he's trying to make the Miami Hurricane offensive line look like that Georgia Bulldog offensive line, looking at these 6'6 guys, 6'7 guys, 300, 330 pounds. I mean, Mario knows you got to have some people movers in the trenches, and that's exactly what he's going for. Steve, what about in terms of flip targets? I mean, down the road, who do we need to keep an eye on? Big names.
Obviously, I think that starts with Josh Moore, DJ Pickett.
There you go.
Those are Miami's potential class. They're looking for a second straight top 5 class.
Mm-hmm.
Third straight top 10 class seems like a foregone conclusion. And DJ Pickett's target numero uno, right? He's going to be back for the Florida State game. Joshua Moore, this offense. And Miami's going to be able to point to their quarterback commit, Luke Nickel, who's one of the top high school quarterbacks in the country. Milton High won a state championship in the Peach State last year, has a chance to win back-to-back in the largest class, Elite 11 finalist. They're going to point to him and say, hey, he's going to be the guy to keep us humming for years to come. So they got the trigger man to point to. Solomon Thomas, they're going to try and flip him as well. I think linebacker is a position of need for them as they try and finish out this recruiting class. Ben Hanks, but receiver is one of their biggest needs in this program. Right. So Joshua Moore, Burnell Brown, they'll continue to kick tires on. The portal, whoever the number 1 receiver is in the portal after the season, Miami's going to be a player for him. And so that's kind of where they're at in this class right now as they try and pursue a second straight top 5 haul. And I don't see them losing for a while.
I don't either. They have a real shot to run the table. Would be incredibly exciting time for Miami recruiting. Miami fans, talk to us in the comment section below. How are we feeling about this start? How are you feeling about Cam Ward? And how are you feeling about some of the top uncommitted names left on this board? Some big flips coming down the road. We'll see what happens. But talk to us, comment section below.